No, I'm not ready to go live. No, I'm not ready. I just got done eating dinner. Not ready to go live yet. But it's that time, isn't it? Hello, good people. Hi there. Jason here with Green Country Agriforestry. It's 8:45, and I set it back like an extra 15 minutes, and I still was pressed for time. This is usual. Oh my goodness. How's everybody doing out there tonight? Give me a second here. I gotta get comfortable. Oh, let me move out of the way so you can see what's behind me here. I've got some stuff to show off. Um, I've been busy this whole week. It's been very windy, and I've been thinking about how I'm going to go about presenting videos of what I've been doing in the garden when the only thing you can hear is whoosh, 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 as the wind is blowing. And I think what I'm probably going to wind up doing is instead of having videos where I'm addressing the camera while the wind is blowing like it is, what I'm going to wind up doing is having the video on the action, whatever it is that I'm up to, whatever it is I'm doing. And I'll probably talk during that, but because the audio is going to be just crummy anyway, the only thing I'll be doing by talking is giving myself like a verbal record, uh, dictating to myself, audio dictating to myself the script that I want to write to present the material whenever I redub. So I'll just come back and in the wee early hours of the morning, whenever it's quiet out, now that I have the house to myself, I'll just overdub everything. And then I'll put in some Foley sound from my audio library of what the birds sound like in the spring and that sort of thing. So we have the usual ambient noise. Um, so it'll sound like I'm outside in the springtime on the audio track, but in fact that'll be a little bit of an illusion. So now that you know. Otherwise, it's just going to be whoosh, 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 and that's all you can hear will be the wind in the microphone. Nobody likes that, so that's what we'll wind up doing. That's going to take a little bit of work. In the meantime, I'm busy working outside, and I don't have time for such things. So what I've been up to this week, let me get my other shoe here. What I've been up to this week is at a sort of a madcap pace uh, because I'm running out of time to get the ducks out of the corn patch so I can prep the corn patch and plant corn. So I have to get them up out of there. But before I do that, I wanted to get a few other things taken care of, and that's getting all of the trees that I have marked for relocation dug up, transplanted, put into pots. And that means I have to run around, and these are 10-gallon pots. So you imagine this is a 5-gallon bucket. These pots hold twice the volume of the 5-gallon bucket, and I have to fill them up with soil. Fortunately, starting a few years back, I began digging trenches around the yard, and I filled them in with wood chips. And the ones in the front yard are probably about the oldest. They're also the shallowest. So that was kind of like the very beginning, first kind of trial run through to see if the concept would work of digging out trenches and then filling them in with wood chips and having that for your walkways. And it worked pretty good in the front yard. So I repeated the process in other places, um, made the trenches wider, made the trenches deeper, filled them with lots more wood chips. On the north side garden, this is the first place where I really did it intensively, and everything on the north side garden just exploded. First year there, it just went nuts. Um, the chips did a great job of being in the walkway, banking a lot of moisture for the garden, and not being otherwise a nitrogen drain because they weren't there where the roots are. They were beside where the roots were. So always there to provide water, not a problem otherwise. So we really want to expand on that. So I've gone back to the front yard, and I've been going to those original walkways and digging them back out again. While I'm digging them out, I'm getting all of the nice black, lovely dirt soil that has been made there over the past couple of years, and I'm digging that out, I'm using it to fill our pots to put our trees in. And so this week I've filled 50 pots with trees. I've got another 4 that have other things in them. There's some canna lilies that are sort of faltering a bit that I think I can rehabilitate. So I put them in pots so I can watch them. They're going to get the irrigation on a daily basis in the nursery area. And then we've got a pot that I've got, I think about 5 or 6 little rows of sharing cuttings that I had to move to someplace, and I put them there. Now, most of those, whenever they get a little bit larger, are going to get planted out into other areas in our garden. But the good news is I figured out how to do rows of sharing cuttings, and that means by next year we should have some more to send out to you guys. So rows of sharing will be added to the inventory of things that we have for sale. And Cheryl is here. Hello, Cheryl. Cheryl, of course, is the person that set this month's special. As you know, I have an informal special every month at our store, and last month's was buy 1 pack of onions for 12 onions, get 1 pack free, and that was the special I gave to Vicky. And since she said that she didn't want to be treated special, I just gave that same deal to everybody. And Cheryl got in on that deal, and she ordered up some onions, and I gave her an extra bunch of onions. And she also ordered some daylilies. And because the apparently the habit is now, whenever a channel member makes an order and gets a little extra something, just so I'm not treating them different from anybody else, that becomes the new monthly special. So the new monthly special for this month, the month of April, which I didn't want to announce yesterday, otherwise you might think it was an April Fool's Day joke. The new special for April is, if you get 2 packs of daylilies, if you don't want to get the bulk pack of 25, I understand, or maybe it's 24, the bulk pack of 24 or 25, whatever that number is, I understand this is about $40. You don't want to get that many, but you want to get more than just a couple. You can get 2 of the 4 packs for the usual price. I'll send you 1 extra for free. There you go. So Cheryl got a couple of packs of daylilies. I gave her an extra pack for free. We used to do them in packs of 6, but then I discovered that the size being variable during the course of the season. 6 daylilies, whenever they're all this big around and this tall and fully developed, I have to clip off a lot of it and pull off all the tubers and then throw. Maybe I can get them all into the 1 gallon bag, but sometimes I can't. So to make sure that space is not a problem and not having to go to a bigger size shipping container isn't an issue, we've limited the pack size to 4. But this time of year, fortunately, I've got a bunch of smaller daylilies, so filling extra orders and the bulk orders is a little bit simpler. So that's a special deal. Now the new addition to the store will come in a plain paper envelope, just like this, and it'll look something like this. I swear, I hand print all of these. So Vicky says, should have figured out by now, I am special. I know you are. So this is Racinius communis, about 24 seeds. So kind of like the Laganaria ciceroria, the bottle gourds. Castor beans. Castor beans are great. They can grow pretty big, like 10, 12 foot tall sometimes. They'll give you this wonderful tropical look. Okay, Cheryl got everything. I was worried. I taped together another box afterwards with the same roll of tape, and then the box started to come apart. I was like, "Oh, great! I just sent Cheryl this back, and it was a recycled box. I'd taken an old Amazon box and recycled because it was big enough to put everything in, and I taped it up with this packing tape we have over here. And I taped up another box just after that, and the tape just kept falling off of the box, and I was worried. I was like, okay, great. I hope the thing that I shipped to Cheryl gets there in one piece because the tape that I used is apparently not sticking, or at least it wasn't sticking to the box I stuck it to. Anyway, good to hear. Whew, we dodged a bullet. At some point, I'm probably going to want to get maybe a stamp or something to put on the envelopes so I'm not hand printing everything. That might be nice. I'll give you an example. I think I've got an example of somebody. Really? Do I not have it? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Then again, this could be a hand drawing too. I think this might actually be a hand drawing. That's David the Good's daughter, Daisy. She sells seeds. I got some loofahs from her. They're doing great, by the way. Every single one of them I started germinated. They're all up. They're great. Um, Come to think of it, she might have hand drawn that. Never mind. I was thinking, maybe I'll get like a little ink pad and a stamp, and I'll just like stamp the what the thing is on the envelope. Maybe that'd be better than something like that. How do I get the oil from the castor plant? I already know about what else come from the seeds. Okay, so if you've got an oil press, you can use your oil press. Just make sure you wash it off thoroughly. After you get done using it, get all the gunk out. The ricin, the poisonous component, is not oil soluble. It's only water soluble. So, or you get a separate oil press and you use just one for castor oil and you use the other one for your cooking oil. Although you can, once you've got it processed and you don't have any of the solids in there anymore, you can consume castor bean oil, and actually it's used as a fairly reliable laxative. Yep. Um, yeah. So what else do we have going on? Oh yeah, this is not up in the store yet, but if you look over behind me, I've got all of this craziness. These are violets and uh, yarrow and peppermint over here. Peppermints, violets, and yarrow in these little. Do I have some examples? Hang on a second. In these little. I'm off screen. Oh no, he's off screen. Off screen, dead air. Ah. All right. And these little cardboard 2-inch pots, right? Well, starts of each one of them. And I was doing some violet transplants, little strawberries and violets. And I pulled up a clump of violets and was looking at it. I was like, I've actually got enough of these now that I could probably start sharing them. And I looked around and realized I've got enough yarrow that I can do the same thing, and enough mint that I can do the same thing. So we put together this deal. This is the standard size box that we have that I can ship for $10. There you go. Tapes up nice. This is the one that I said I taped this box up afterwards, and the tape kept on falling off. Yeah. So I had to give it a little extra tape. But this box is about the size that we can get and fit everything in. That ships for about $10. There's room in here for a couple of packs of seeds too, if you wanted to get a couple of packs of seeds. That's one of the reasons why I added some more seeds to our lineup, just in case you want to pad the box. But inside we can have a total of 6 plants. Here's a sampling. There are 2. Viola Sororia here. That's the wild violet starts. There's 2 starts of wild violets. Of course, we've got 2 starts of peppermint. Peppermint is not it's not an heirloom. It's a hybrid. It's a hybrid of water mint, and another mint. So you have to clone it. All right, here we go. Genuine peppermint. And here we have, oh my goodness, yarrow. That's right. So we got yarrow and peppermint. Oy. And violets. And they all fit in the box, like so. So, I figure our new special is going to be 6 packs of seedling starts. 6 packs of seedling starts in a box. You can either get 6 of the yarrow, you can get 6 of the violet, you can get 6 of the peppermint, or you could get a 3-way 6-pack with 2 yarrow, 2 peppermint, and what's the other thing over on there? Violets, 2 violets. There we go. Now, as far as yarrow and peppermint goes, let's see if you can maybe you can make it out. There's a little something right there. About 3 days ago, I was out there by the duck pond taking some canna shoots with my garden shears, and I was clipping them into small pieces, peeling the outer tough bits away because those are a little bit fibrous, and taking the tender insides, that's the part with the protein, and snipping that up and tossing it to the ducklings and doing a little video about that, which of course, new camera, wasn't quite used to the right angle, and I wound up cutting my head off. But I wound up accidentally cutting myself with the shears, snipped myself right there, so they had a little fold of the skin coming up like that, and just snip. Bled profusely. It was not fun. But the first thing I did was went and grabbed some yarrow, packed it into the wound, then went washed up a little bit. Whenever I got done, I gathered a few other herbs together. So I gathered first the yarrow for the initial, just stopping the bleeding. Vicky says she'd get some. Yeah, they should. It's a yarrow and wild violets, but they grow wild here, right? And you already have peppermint. You don't need anything from it. You're good. This is for people who don't already have this growing in their backyard. So I after I'd held the yarrow down there and got the bleeding stopped initially, I went and got a little bit more yarrow. I got some plantain. I got some Monarda punctata, or spotted bee balm. I got some peppermint. I got a little bit of chickweed, and I got a little inner leaf off of a mullein plant. And I actually got some of this on camera, so I might put that into video at some point. And after I got everything rinsed off, I just took and mashed up all the herbs, with the exception of the mullein leaf. Mashed all the herbs up as good as I could get them, and then pressed them down into that wound, and then took the mullein leaf and put it around, and then tied it off with some twine. And I just worked the rest of the day with that bandage made out of herbs and twine. And I could have probably just cut the cordage off of the bark of a tree and used that too if I wanted to. Use that, and then the only thing I did whenever I got done for the day, full day of work, about 8 or 9 hours, is after I got in, I took all the poultice off, took the bandage off, washed everything off thoroughly. I dirt all over my hands. It was a mess. Washed everything off, and then I put a little bit of liquid bandage over the cut. And this is about 3 days later. You can see where the cut is, where the outline is, but it is closed, it is healed, no pain, no infection, no inflammation. Yippee yippee yay. So, good stuff. Good stuff. Cheryl says, here I dug up some yarrow today and put it in a pot. Yarrow is a wonderful herb. Get some. It's probably growing in the field somewhere nearby. You don't have to order it from me. But we do have it for people who don't. Oh my goodness. That was about it. Yeah. That's the entire show. We're done. Oh. Got any tricks to keep squirrels? Oh, Katie is asking Cheryl if she's got any tricks. if you've got tricks for keeping squirrels digging up onions for a meal, I'd be interested in hearing them just as well. Box full of plants. Oi. Been working with this entire garden in a box concept. All right. So the front yard excavation project, since I've been going around and doing it, I had to go back and redo a few things. Along where the path is going, for starters, on the outside, there's of course we have out beds on the outside of the garden, and then we have beds on the inside in the front garden area. And I haven't done all of the outer bed area yet, but I leveled out the dirt there, the soil. I leveled out the soil as I was going along, digging out the walkway. So before we do anything else, we have to go and get another course of block wall to raise the garden wall in the front yard, because we're now filled to the top as far as soil depth goes. So this technique of digging out trenches, filling it full of organic matter, letting it decompose in the trenches, making that your walkway, allowing that to be the repository for the moisture during the hot part of the year, the summer, and then digging it back out to top off your garden beds. It is working great. I mean, it's working really good. I planted probably about 40 new cannas in the front yard. Oh, before I forget, cannas, I went through, did the inventory to make sure, and updated everything on the storefront. But we have enough to fill 9 orders of canna before we're out. So we have enough for 9, but then that's it until next year. Corn, we have enough to fill 4 orders, and then we're done until next year. I'm going to have some really nice seed corn for this year. Some really interesting patterns came up, so we're gonna plant a whole bunch of big horse spotted corn. Hopefully, it turns out really well. This is the first year that we've had a full cover crop of winter wheat there in the corn patch. So the ground is feeling nice and soft already. It's not feeling hard. It's not feeling doesn't feel like we're going to have to do a lot of work to break up the soil to get it ready. So we're doing that this week, wind permitting. I guess it won't be too bad. I managed to get all the trees taken care of in the front yard, but I'm going to have to abandon the front yard for a little bit while I go prep the corn patch. Front yards, let's see. The outer beds, the walkway next to the outer beds are all lined with perennial walking onions. And then on the inside, we have some garlic instead of onions. So we have allium on both sides, but the allium on the outside is onions, the allium on the inside is garlic. And then in between the garlic and the onions, either way, whether it's garlic or onions, we've got daylilies. And then on the inner track, we've got daffodils as an additional component in there. Now the outer edge on the far outside of the garden should also have daffodils there. So all of your outer edges have daffodils. So outer edge, daffodils, then you have a walkway going in, and then outer edge of the inner beds have daffodils. The idea is hopefully eventually we'll get to the point where rodents will come along and they'll go, ew, there's a whole bunch of stuff here that I don't want to eat. There's the daffodils, there's the snowdrops, the Star of Bethlehem, irises they don't like to eat, daylilies they don't seem to like to eat. So there's stuff that I don't like to eat, stuff that if I try to eat it gives me a tummy ache. And then there's the mint growing in there, and hopefully that means stuff that if I dig it up, it makes funny smell that I don't really like. And then there's the castor beans, like, yeah, and there's some seeds in there that if I eat them, they'll make me sick. I don't like any of the stuff going on here. Maybe there's good stuff to eat, but I'll leave it for somebody else, and they'll just go somewhere else. That's kind of like the hope that I have. But most of the time, I believe we're going to have to do what Katie is suggesting: create a lot of wireframe barriers, things to stop the chewing from going on. There's just some things that just are too tempting. One of the things that we have coming in that's going to be very tempting is called Skirret, and hopefully we'll have a good supply of Skirret going before too long. But I think I'm going to have to keep it growing in our protected raised beds because I suspect that they were. I suspect that they're going to be a little bit too tempting for the gophers. Then again, it could be wrong, so we'll see. I'll start them out in the protected bed, and then whenever I spread them, I'll spread them to other locations. So Vicky's asking, yes, about daffodils. Do I use them as a deterrent against plant predators because they are toxic? Yeah, that's one of the reasons I use daffodils. Daffodils and snowdrops too, and crocuses, and castor bean too as well. Yeah, not everything is for us to eat. Some things are there to help keep the nasties from eating the rest of our things. Through my lens, saying, I was worried that my cannons were not coming back. Look today, and they were already 6 inches tall. What zone are you in? 6 inches tall already. Probably zone 8, but you could be zone 7 if you're like in like New Jersey or something like that. Even zone 6 if you're close to the coast, East Coast or West Coast. Maybe not East Coast. Yeah, lily of the valley is also toxic. I don't have any lily of the valley though. I don't have any actual lilies for all of the things that I have that are called lily. None of them are actually lilies. Daylilies are not lilies, and Canada lilies are not lilies. Yeah. Yep. What else did I do out there? Oh, yeah, all the new planting beds. Put in lots of daikon radish and clover and things like that. I didn't put in any extra chicory because there was still chicory there from last year. Chicory, of course, being a perennial, it'll keep on coming back. Castor beans are a perennial too, but you have to be in like zone 10 for them to be perennial. Here in the frozen Northlands, you have to let them grow back, but they reseed so readily that they may as well be perennials. Speaking of, I've got a couple seeds here that I ordered in that are in that category of things that reseed so readily that they may as well be perennials. Yeah, I was like, ooh, look, here's a little crackbaggy. Look at those. What are those? What are those little tiny seeds? I'm actually gonna have to start these in a pot, I think. Here we go. These are called cucamelon or Mexican gherkin. There you go. So these presumably will produce so much that you can't keep up with them and they'll reseed themselves. I remember seeing these on a fence nearby a garden that my grandmother attended. And of course, grandmother did her gardening and didn't necessarily share everything with everyone about what she'd planted where and why she'd planted it. And sometimes she'd explain things. Sometimes she'd explain things to little grandchildren who were around who weren't really aware that they were being educated. But she had not bothered to mention that these were edible. So I saw these all over the place near the gardens that she had planted, but didn't know that they were edible. So we had tons of these growing when I was a kid. And as far as reseeding readily goes, for the many, many years that I saw these growing along the fence by grandmother's house, I never once saw anybody do anything other than mow and weed eat around where they were growing. So, comes up pretty readily by themselves, apparently. The other thing that we got are these right here. And these are a little vining plant called Malabar spinach. This is the red stemmed Malabar spinach, which apparently can also manage to make it in zone 7. So in between that and the cucamelon, yeah, and some cherry tomatoes, we got our greens, we got our cucumbers, and we got our tomatoes, all taken care of in cute little vine climbing, small garden space friendly forms. I might have to work that up into a pack that contains all 3 seeds together. It's like, here's some cucamelon, here's some Malabar red spinach. There's your, just throw down a handful, boom, here's what you do. Go get yourself half cattle pound or full cattle pound. I don't care. Half cattle pound. Stick it in the ground. Thunk. Put a stake next to it, one side or the other. Take a handful of these seeds, just throw them on the ground. Walk away. There you go. And they can take off and they can grow. The red Malabar spinach grows up, makes a vine. The leaves are edible. Cucamelon, of course, little tiny, just like a cherry tomato, has little tiny miniature tomatoes that are bite-sized. Cucamelon, little bite-sized miniature cucumbers. And then, of course, cherry tomatoes. You know about cherry tomatoes. Plant a couple onions around the base of it. Call it a day. Garden in a box. Oh my goodness. Been moving a bunch of other stuff around up there. I've decided that I didn't like where my irises were, so I pulled up all the irises. Only problem is I don't know which color of irises are which. So I strategically relocated them so that I can make a note. If I remember to make a note. I can make a note. Not that I will, but I can make a note of which colors popped up where. Because I know we have some burgundy, and we have some amethyst, and then we have some like two-tone white and amethyst. And I think we may have white, and we may have blue, but I've never seen the blue and I've never seen the white. No, I've seen the white one year. I haven't seen it since then, but I've seen it one year. I've never seen the blue one. And then we have yellow flag iris. So actually we have a whole bunch of different colors of iris. The yellow flag is pretty easy to identify. It's distinctively different from the rest of them. But the other ones they're all old world orris, for perfume and for cut flowers and stuff like that. In any case, I decided to relocate all the irises. Irises now go next to trees. If there's a tree and it's not a shrub, it's a tree, and it can be an understory tree, but it has to be a tree. Tree or understory, canopy tree or understory tree, then it gets an iris next to it. And if it has irises next to it, of course, it has to have its own daffodils. Every tree has to have its own daffodils. Because, the rodents aren't going to eat the orris root, and they're not going to eat the daffodil. So they get daffodil and they get iris. Preferably they get some snowdrop too, because it's nice to have flowers popping up at different times of the spring. I want to grab some hyacinth and throw that into the mix. None of this stuff is edible, but it's there to help keep the critters away from the base of the trees. And then we fill in with ground covers like violets on the north side and the west side, and strawberries on the south side and the east side. And so I've been running around with this. Got me to the point where I'm filling up flats full of violet starts. So I'm running around planting violets, and I'm planting strawberries. I'm making sure that every tree's got, its little associated guild of things going on with it. I'm trying to clean up the beds and all this stuff before I ran out of time and have to go back to the backyard and start working on the corn patch. Because, once that time comes, I'm going to be doing the corn patch. I'll be done with the corn patch, get everything planted. Time for a break? No, we're going to have heavy rains, and then the heat comes. And it will be past time for out there working in the front yard in the heat, digging in the sun. So I'm trying to just get as much of that done as I can this week. But I've got, I guess, 2 weeks before we break ground and start planting our corn. What else? What else? What else? What else? Let's see. The backyard where we're going to put the box wall. I've got just about everything pulled out of there that needs to be pulled out. Um, there's a few things, but they're further they're restrictions. They're further to the south, so I can get started putting up the corner at least of the box wall, um, and start rolling away on that, which is good because I'm gonna have to put all this sand that I'm pulling out of the front yard, and it's just sand. It's nothing but sand, very very fine sand. I'm not sure if it's sandstone that's softening up or if it's just sand that's becoming stone. Um, but uh, other than about 2 inches of topsoil, it's nothing but sand here, except for it's clay and rock. Sometimes there's clay and rock, and then it's sand. So we got sand, clay, and rock, and sometimes very, very fine dust. Sometimes the sand is just dust. It's sand dust, is what it is. It's not good for much. I think we can use it for building material. So I'm going to dig it out, move it, and put it in a box wall, and then fill in the space that it came out of with wood chips, and hopefully that'll improve the overall soil. Vicky's asking if I have plans for growing dahlias. I tried dahlias. They don't like it here. They don't like it. It's a little too damp for them. Dahlias would probably be better on a hillside. The soil that we have would work for them if it wasn't river bottom. But being as it's river bottom, they get a little bit damp and they don't like it. But I tried them out, I think 2 years in a row I tried them out. And they held in there. They held on there for a little while, and then they said, okay, I've had enough. This isn't really our environment. And they stopped. Oh, but you know what? I do have that. I should have brought them in. I was thinking about bringing them in and showing them off, but I forgot to. Sorry, I'm playing with my face here. I've got some betony. They call it Chinese artichoke or crones. And I dug some out. And I was thinking about moving some around. And I moved a little bit of it around to the front yard. But I got to look at some of the pieces, and they're coming close to about the size of my pinky. I thought they were going to be tiny. But it's just that particular bed is back there in the far northwest corner, and in the far northwest corner, they don't get a whole lot of light. And I think betony's going to make roots a lot better if it can get light. So it's going to be more of a put it on the edge of your forest garden sort of thing, not somewhere behind the canopy. Just put it like out at the very edge, and then they'll probably take off and grow pretty well. And you're going to have soft, loose soil to harvest the roots out of, but they would do a lot better there, I think. And I'm told to make sure. I got scratches on these things. To make sure that you remove the flowers from your betonies if you want to get good roots. So, plenty of sunshine, plenty of water. Remove. Oh yeah, I can see. There, that's better. Remove the flowers if you want to get good roots. Grandma is saying, "Where is Mullen the happiest?" The happiest, sunshine. Sunshine. They're happiest in a sunlit meadow. So a place where there was a tree at one time, but the tree has fallen and left an open space, where there are plenty of rocks being decayed by lichens, and there's otherwise a forest area that's suddenly been exposed. That's where Mullen is happiest. Perhaps a hillside after a fire has gone through, Mullen would be pretty happy in that area too. Because say in my experience, the violence transplant well if they are not in bud or in bloom, and they do best to transplant while dormant. Yeah, they're this point they're in bloom right now, so this is not the best time to be transplanting them. But it's about the only time that I have. Otherwise, I'm going to be busy. So we're going to give these guys about a week or so to get acclimated and make sure that they're taking, because I don't want to send you guys any starts that aren't started. So we're going to give them a week, make sure they're okay, and then we're going to start listing them on the web store. But that's these guys are going up in about 1 week. We got violets. Achillea milliforum, that is to say yarrows. It's a white yarrow. It's not the fancy yellow and red stuff. This is very, very hardy. And then of course we got peppermints as well. I stuck all the peppermint yesterday. Today I got the violets and the yarrow done. And the peppermint's perked up pretty well. I don't think there are any of them that are wilty. So that's good. It's good. I had to kick the cats out of the purple room, out of our auxiliary room. Vicky remembers finding a patch of violets that had bloomed so large they almost looked like pansies. Woohoo! I would have wanted to save a few of those. Divide them around. That's the nifty thing about wild violets, Viola sororia. Once you've got the one plant started, well, go ahead and grab one plant. Well, technically there's two here. All right, so once you've got one plant started, it'll grow for about a year or two. And down here in the bottom, it has a little storage tuber, a little storage root. And then from that storage root, it sends off a bud to the side. And it'll probably send out 2 or 3 in the first year. And then the year after that, it'll send out another 2 or 3 from each of those auxiliary buds. So in about 2 or 3 years, each one of these starts will be a small clump that's about that big around at the base and comes out and just has this lovely, lovely mound of foliage and brilliant, stunning, bright purple blooms. They're actually kind of finishing up their blooms this week. I've been putting them in omelets. That's right, omelets. It's, not the right time of year for strawberries. So where are you getting your vitamin C, huh? You don't have any hothouse tomatoes. Well, if you do have hothouse tomatoes, you can eat your hothouse tomatoes. But if you don't have hothouse tomatoes, and the supermarket isn't working, where are you getting your vitamin C from? Well, as it turns out, this week you've got the red bud blooms are on, the violet blooms are on. You can still get some quince blooms. So I've been throwing these flowers that are fairly potent and high in vitamin C into my breakfast omelet. So I have an omelet with greens and starchy roots and flower bits. It looks like confetti. Very pretty, actually. But that gets you all your nutrients, and you get to eat everything right out of the yard. By golly! I have been putting cheese in the omelet. And we don't have a cow, So it's not 100% made here. The butter, the cheese, the sour cream, all got bought in. Black pepper, for using black pepper, that has to be bought in. The salt's got to be bought in, stuff like that. So not 100% of everything comes from the yard, but a lot of it is. Grandma Zeus says, I've been on a roasted dandelion root tea with milk and honey. Really? How is that? Is it good? I mean, is it one of those makes you feel good but doesn't necessarily taste great, or it has an interesting flavor that you kind of get used to over time, or And Joe is with us. Hello, Joe. Lightly roasted tastes like buttered corn. Dark roast tastes like coffee. I see. Joe's saying, but you buy raw milk and process the cheese there, right? No, I don't. I could. I know how to, but I don't. The only kind of cheese I'd be able to make, unless I got some rennet, is acid curd. Acid curd cheese is pretty good. If you got some kind of citrus fruit, it's best. But you can do it with any kind of really acidic fruit as well. So you could do it with strawberries if you have really tart strawberries. Get really tart strawberries. If your strawberries are turning out, a little too on the tart side, or you got cherries that are a little too tart, okay, that's fine. Rich in vitamin C, lots of ascorbic acid, not so much on the sweet side. That's fine. Get that, juice it, get rid of the pulp. Then get your milk and separate the cream, as much of the cream as you can. And then combine your milk with as much cream as you can in the milk with your acidic juice. You might want to boil the juice down a bit to concentrate it, not too much because you don't want to evaporate your acid, but to get rid of the most of the water. You combine that together, and then you let it sit for about 45 minutes to an hour or so, and then you pour it through cheesecloth, and it will clot it up. And you squeeze out your excess moisture, and then salt it. Add some chopped herbs, like you add onions is good to add in there. So you have strawberry juice. If you have really tart strawberries, that are too tart for you, or you got that, maybe you have that berry that's it's got lots of vitamin C, but it's not sweet. It needs a little something. That's fine. Just juice that. Use that juice with your milk. Make a soft curd cheese. Add some diced onions. Put that on your crackers or your toast points, and remember to put your pinky out whenever you're having a tapas. Oh, Muffy. All right. If you had variety cheese, that's so good. Yeah. With corn tortillas instead of red sauce. Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. Oh, say, what I like to do. Okay. Here's what I like to do. I like to get my flat iron going, right? Get my flat iron going. Get about a tablespoon of butter, or not butter, but tablespoon of lard. Slap it on there. Get the tortilla, and once the lard is all melted and it's going good, put the heat at about medium so it's not on the centering, and just toss the tortilla on there, and give it a second or two until it starts to lift up, and then turn it real quick. Make sure it's well oiled on the one side. Give it about 30 seconds. Flip it back over, 30 seconds on the first side again, and then out onto paper towel, and the next tortilla goes on, right? And while that tortilla is on, I'm going to grab a little pinch of salt that I've ground up and put that on the back side of the first tortilla. Gives me enough time to go back to the tortilla that's on the flat iron, flip it, 30 seconds per side, it goes onto the paper, and then the next tortilla goes on. Add more lard depending upon how many you're going to make. But at each time, whenever you turn them and pull them off, a little pinch of salt on the back side of the last batch of tortillas. And you're not cooking them all the way until they're hard, crispy. You just want them just lightly browned, just a little bit brown, so they're still flexible. And once you've got as many as you're gonna do, toast it up like that. You set them to the side, and then you spread them out. and take your cheese and go, okay, cheese on top of that one, cheese on top of that one, cheese on top, and just throw cheese on it, and then get some refried beans, about a tablespoon of refried beans with your fork, and you might want to do this before you put the cheese down. Actually, either or works, but I use my finger and then lick my lick my finger afterwards. But if you don't want to lick your finger afterwards, probably put your refried down before on you're gonna have the tortilla around. It's like on the lower half of the round. It's just like on one half. Just a little 1 tablespoon smear, refried beans, and then if you're gonna have like grilled chicken or anything else, throw that on there too. Like sometimes grilled chicken with some peppers and onions. It's really good. Throw that in there. And then jalapenos on the other side. And then you have this entire tortilla that's this par cooked. It's like half crispy. It's got a little refried on it. It's got cheese on it. It's got jalapenos on it. Maybe some meat and stuff like that. And you go back to your flat iron and you go ahead and turn the heat up a little bit. Drop those tortillas on the flat iron and then cover them up. And wait until you can see the cheese start to melt. And then you remove the cover and fold them over real quick and then set them to the side. And then whenever you're all ready to go, you just top those off with a little bit of diced tomatoes, sour cream, some olives if you want to make it white girl Mexican. I call them stuffed nachos. Yeah, but yeah, it's a grilled cheese sandwich made with corn tortillas. You just fold the corn tortilla in half. And it's good to go. They are so good. They are so good. They fill you up. They fill you up right in all the right ways. Like abuela used to make. If you had an abuela who made tortillas. Oh my goodness! I think I got dirt in my eye. I don't know. Does it look red to you? Oh. Oh, yeah, I got schmutz in the eye. One of the hazards of playing with dirt in the wind. You may get some in your eyes. Jennifer Ocean coming over from Jan. Oh, yeah, Jan was here just a minute ago, wasn't she? Vicky says, found a brand of lard that's preserved with rosemary instead of chemicals. Oh, that sounds actually good. All right, there's Dan talking about redbuds. Yeah, she's up there in Missouri also, next to, I think, like Lake Stockton or so. No, I said if you had an abuela who made corn tortillas. I wish I did. I do. I wish I did. I feel cheated. I feel cheated. I did not have a grandmother who made homemade corn tortillas. I have to make my own homemade corn tortillas. That's right. If I want homemade corn tortillas, I have to make them myself. Which is cool, but it's just not the same. It's just not the same, you know. It's not the same. No. I used to have friends that had moms that made their tortillas. Yeah. You go to school in one of these little farming towns. You have a lot of you have a lot of Mexicans that wind up living here year round. So half the kids at school were Mexican. This is unusual, I think, for as far north as we were. But Bixby is just farming town. Everywhere around is farms. And this was in the 1980s. So immigration was not a big problem. People came across the border. They worked. They went home with paychecks, and it was no big deal. But we'd have kids that come in to lunch with a thermos and like lunchbox with aluminum foil and tortillas, and they open it up, and there's steam coming out still. They open up their thermos, and inside they got the hot filling, whatever they got to put on. They pull that and put it on tortillas. And like, oh my gosh, how come I've got peanut butter and jelly, man? What's going on here? Oh man. So we're having a fusion of Chinese and Mexican cuisine. It's Chinese vegetables and Mexican style cuisine. That's what we're doing. Because the Chinese vegetables, daylilies and duck eggs, that's cheap and easy to come by. Actually, I guess duck eggs are also classified as Mexican, depending upon where you're from. I think you used to see a lot of ducks around the old places around Mexico City. It was part of the regular diet. But it's easy food. It's easy to come by, easy to grow, easy to make. Lots of it. Feeds lots of people. Corn is easy to grow. Boy. Corn, you call it maize. Let's see, what do I have in here? I'm going to have to start. I'm going to have to start selecting seeds here pretty soon. I'm trying to figure out. Yeah. So some of these ears have really funny markings on them. Some are more ordinary, like speckled red with white speckles, white with red speckles. But some of these just came out with like a star pattern on them. I'm trying to figure out which ones are like that. Oof. Okay, this is a weird one. I'm not gonna plant everything off of this cob, just like maybe one or two. One or two maybe. I don't even know if you can see these or not. All right. So let me turn it so you can have a look at. All right. So you can trying to hold it steady. You can see this is a dent corn, right? But that kind of like frosted appearance on the outside, that's just a very fine pattern of like feathers on the outside of that. So I think I'm gonna save a couple of these because it's got that feathered pattern on it. But it's also dent corn, so I don't know. I guess we have to, all right? You got to keep it because it's part of the genome. Yeah, this is no good. This one's good for eating. We won't save that one for seed. Let's see. Here, have a look at this one. Look at those kernels. They are so blue they're black. Well, the ones that are like the dark blue, they're so blue they're black. This one doesn't have any of that feather pattern on it, but it's got really nice, thick, fat kernels. So that one we're keeping. That one's going for dinner. That one's dinner. This one we're going to keep a couple because it's got that funky pattern on it. That funky pattern. Oh, wow. Okay. There are a lot of those crazy kernels here. Some of them are pretty big. You might be able to see them from there, maybe, possibly. I can get close enough. So you see right there, that one right at the end of my finger, it's got little, like feather-like markings on it. That ear didn't fill out too well. No. We're not going to take seed from that one. Interesting thing about that teosinte bit, it may not have been. The reason I think it may not have been is because under the right circumstances, this particular corn produces teosinte. You first have to put it in really bad soil, like mostly clay, and then it has to be exposed to a mid-season interruption, a cold front in the middle of its growing season. So if it's in bad soil, experiences a cold front in the middle of its growing season, the styles that come off, it'll produce extra styles, and the styles that come off will only produce a single row in pods. It's teosinte. So you have to put it in bad soil to switch on the genes to turn it into podcorn, or to switch on podcorn genes, and then you have to convince it that it's got a short season, and then it'll try to grow podcorn with only one single stalk. This most likely happened to the Aztecs at a certain point in their history. Yeah. Which is one of the reasons why you'll see their descendants keeping red corn, black corn, and teosinte. So there's a good example of red corn. It's kind of a nice burgundy. I thought this might be one of this. No, this one doesn't have any feathers. It just has speckles. I'm hoping that I can find one that has red, but also feathers. I haven't seen it yet. Oy. This is a pretty good flint. We'll keep it. Tempting as these ones are, we got lots of little pretty ones, but this is one from one of the short ears. And I think what happened once upon a time, this is really good coloration. Not necessarily great fill-in, but good coloration. I think what had happened back in the pre-cataclysm days, whenever they were trading corn, is they were growing corn here in America, in the Americas, and they were exporting the short ears. And being flint corn, the short ears, that's popcorn. And so you could be, somewhere halfway around the world getting this corn imported, this grain imported. That's kind of a cool novelty. Oh yeah, we're keeping that. It's kind of a cool novelty, but it isn't the sort of thing that you would think of to grow in a survival situation, right? You're not going to depend upon this novelty grain that comes from that continent overseas. That's just the export that they have. Okay, these are almost blue with the star on them. I'm just reminiscing, contemplating keeping some of these. I think I was thinking about keeping this one because of the shade. It's kind of a lavender with a star on it. Anyway, so you've got these colonies halfway on the other side of the world, where you're getting this corn that you're trading, right, for. They even drew little pictures of it all over the world pre-cataclysm. I think this used to be grain. You used to think, you saw this, you thought this is grain. Oy. right? But in Mesopotamia, they didn't grow this for survival. Whenever the cataclysm occurred, they went, okay, we're gonna grow what we know how to grow, and what we know how to grow is einkorn wheat, and so that's what they grew there. Meanwhile, in the Americas, they kept on growing corn, or maize, as we call it. So I think those pictures that we see, the bas reliefs, the steles that have the figure on them with the handbag and the grain in their hand. It's not a pine cone. I think it's one of these. I think it's a small corn cob with the popcorn that they would be trading at that time. But this is we're talking about 10,000 years ago, which is about as long as corn's been around. So about that time, here in Americas, they were breeding corn and they were trading it, and they were probably trading the short ears, and then keeping the long ears and growing the long ears. That would make sense. I'm going to take what I want more of, and I'm going to plant more of that. And I don't want the short ears, so I'm going to give away or sell the short ears. And I think that's exactly what happened. The cataclysm went down, comet or asteroid, whatever it was, kicked us back into the ice age again. Nobody over there on the far side of the world thought, hey, let's take the novelty corn that we get from the Americas. They weren't calling it the Americas. Let's take that novelty corn that we get from over there and plant that for survival. No, they planted wheat. And so corn was lost to Asia and to Europe during that time period. But I suspect it was known before then. Yep. Mary's here. Speaking of dahlias, the flower in Mary's avatar, that's a dahlia. From when we tried growing dahlias. He says, I thought he does life dreams constantly. That's right. I do live dreams constantly. Do our dreaming with our eyes wide open. It's fun. Try it sometime. Oh my goodness. But we were having all kinds of fun. It may be a little bit longer before we have a regular video out for you guys. I'm sorry about the delay, but it's just I either have time to work, I have time to sleep, or I have time to edit video, and I'm gonna get some sleep tonight and then back at it again tomorrow. Um, yeah, I still have more digging to do. I've decided I'm not going to completely revamp the corn patch. I'm just going to rake the walkways clear of the dry stuff, scythe the winter wheat, fork it, do a little dig out, and then refill the walkways. We're not going to expand them or widen them out any. So it's just dig out and refill. Just dig out and refill, not widen. Next spring, we're going to get them widened out. And that'll be good. That'll be good. Because the corn patch really does need it. Does okay, but I think if it had a bit wider walkways. See, right now they're 3 foot wide, but it's not a trench that's 3 foot wide. It's maybe about 14 inches wide. The trench is only about 14 inches. So 14 inches and about 2 foot deep to dig out of organic matter and put on the surface. That's going to be good. We need to bring up the soil depth in the corn patch whenever we go there. It's kind of it's in the low spot, so we need to bring it up. But I think it's going to be interesting in the next couple of months to see if I can get some 3/4 inch PVC pipe and pipe fittings together. We'll hook that up to the outflow from the duck pond, and that can go directly to the corn patch. So whenever it's time to do our weekly flush of the crud from the bottom of the duck pond, instead of having to carry it by buckets and then toss the buckets out, I'll just open it up and let it go out straight out to the corn patch, fertilize and irrigate at the same time. Whenever the water level drops down to a certain point, we close it off, top it off, and we're done. Yep. Eventually, we should be able to pipe in water from the rooftops and stuff like that into storage containers, and then into the duck pond, and then out to the garden. That should be good. They'll take care of the fertilizing and irrigation and cleaning up the duck pond all at the same time. So you're trying to work smarter, not harder. So a little bit of work ahead of time, getting a duck pond established that I can open up and drain, and then run the pipe to where I need fertilizer, and then ducks make fertilizer. Ducks enjoy the pond. I only have to fill up the pond once a week instead of having to fill up little buckets for the ducks every day. And then I just open up the valve and water and fertilize at the same time. And then we have duck eggs to eat every day. Yep, that's the plan. That's the plan. Work in progress. We will have pictures for you soon enough. Video for you pretty soon too. I think the front yard's going to look pretty good whenever we've got the walkway put back in. So at the moment, when you look out there, we've got walkway to a certain extent, and it goes around a corner, and then it stops and starts becoming a ditch. And the ditch is in various stages of disrepair because I don't have it 100% excavated. You see it kind of like it's a little bit like a mining operation, really. I found the vein of dark earth and I'm following it. But all the soil that goes into these seedling starts came out of there. All the soil that goes into the pots that we're growing trees in, that's where it comes from. So it's very good soil for starting plants in and growing trees in and stuff like that. And fortunately, I didn't have to buy it. I just go out there and dig it out because that's where I'm making it, and we're making more every day. Yep. Oh yeah, very busy. Well, guys, I've been on for a little over an hour, and my eyes are starting to cross by themselves. I've got to get back out and hit it all over again tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in and joining us. Once again, the notification: castor bean seeds are on sale at greencountryagroforestry.com. Our daylily bulk packs are back for sale. That's either 24 or 25 at once in one bulk quantity. And because Cheryl, I gave her the special hookup, she got 2 packs of the 4 packs of daylilies, and I said, yeah, they're small. I'll go ahead and I'll give you 2 6-packs instead of 2 4-packs. Or in other words, she bought 2 4-packs, and I gave her an extra one for free, just so I'm not treating her different from anybody else. So for the rest of April, when you get 2 packs of daylilies, you'll get your 3rd pack for free. So buy 2, get 1 free. Buy 2, get 1 free. But if you need more than just 12 daylilies, go ahead and order up the bulk pack. You'll save money that way. No, actually, I think it's about the same, isn't it? Yeah. Because if they're $10 for if it's $10 for 2, and you get 3, that would be 20 for 12, 40 for 24. So yeah, it's essentially the same deal. Anyway, that's what we got going on there. And probably next week or so, depending upon how well these little plant starts take, if they all take well, then I'll go ahead and start listing them. But we have Garden in a Box. That is plant starts of peppermint, violet, yarrow, which you can get 6 at a time. You can get six peppermints, 6 violets, 6 yarrows, or you can get 2 of each: 2 peppermint, 2 yarrow, 2 violet. There we go. All in a box. Delivered for $10. Ta-da. Yay! So, that's it, guys. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you found today's video informative or entertaining. Maybe a little bit of both. And if you did, well, you know what to do. I'll catch you next time. Until then, get out there and get growing.